Hey, what's up, everybody? It is me, King Alpha. I hope everybody's just doing great. I hope this guide definitely helps you out, but for sure, this is the first video on the channel, so I would definitely appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribed, and definitely hit the notification button. Another thing as well, in the description below, there'll be my other social medias in case you want to watch certain clips or anything like that. Would be heavily appreciated. Anyways, let's get into it. The top 3 best guns in BattleBit at the moment. Of course, this is bound to change, so do keep that in mind. So now we're going to be showing my stats really quick as a bit of a reference. I have a 3.67 kill death ratio, 20% accuracy, 2300 score per minute, and 1.6 kills per minute. Now I would like my kills per minute to be a bit higher. However, at the moment I am testing out a lot of the other weapons and I am using off meta weapons or even underrated weapons. As you guys can even see, my favorite weapon right now is the G36C. So I do like to mix things around and give all the guns a bit of a test, and I'm going to be doing future videos of maybe some underrated loadouts like for the G36C and other weapons as well. So let me know if you do want to see those in the future. Now, regardless, let's talk about the number 3 weapon in the game that is probably one of the best guns, I think personally, that can beat a lot of the other guns, and let's get into it. So at the number 3 spot is the Groza. The Groza you get at level 55, and it is a great pickup weapon for a lot of the guns that, you know, when you're using the M4, the AK-74, AK-15, you just picked up the Scar, you want another gun, well, this is one of the best guns in the game for sure. Now the Groza does have some drawbacks that compared to other weapons, so let's get into that real quick. I'll show you guys the loadout that I currently use, about 2 different loadouts, and then we will get into some gameplay and really talk a little bit more about the gun. So one drawback is the fact that you only have a 30 round magazine. You don't have a quick magazine. You know, you can't do really a drum magazine or anything like that. That's, you know, fine. I don't really like the drum magazines anyways, but the quick magazine is something that is huge for a lot of the assault rifles, and the fact that the Groza does not have that does make it have a little bit of a drawback because you have a longer reload time. Another thing as well is that you don't actually have a grip. You can't put any grip on the Groza, and with this you can't put the UK grip, which allows you to reload faster, or you can't put any other grip that allows you to have maybe a little bit of better vertical recoil or a little bit more accuracy. So it's really all up to the barrel and the main sight. Now the main sight, I'm just going to say this, the main sight is fully up to you. I'm going to say some sights, but honestly, the sights is all up to the player. If the player wants to use a medium range or long range sight, you know, do your thing, but it's still a great gun. So, you know, fully up to you. Now the barrel, we're going to go over to the barrel. So I like to use the tactical barrel, but at the same time, I do like to use the suppressor short. The suppressor short is great because it doesn't kick the gun too much with vertical recoil. It's still very easy to control. And with the fact that you're using a suppressor, you're not really going to get detected immediately. And especially in 127 versus 127, you're going to see a lot of the times the minute that you shoot a gun that is not suppressed, everyone and their mama turns around. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I do like to use the suppressor short. However, I will say this, the tactical barrel and the VAMB is also good barrels as well to test out and just to see which ones you really like more. Now, let's get into some gameplay. I'm going to talk a little bit about more of the Groza, and then we're going to get into the number 2 weapon. I'll see you guys there. So currently with the Groza, I'm using the suppressor a lot more than the actual like tactical barrel or the VAMB barrel. Again, the barrels are fully up to you and you can test which one you like more. However, I do like the suppressor currently because of the high damage in the Groza. It allows me to go a bit undetected compared to using the tactical barrel or the VAMB barrel. And being undetected in 127 versus 127 and being able to get off a little bit of a kill streak is where you do benefit a lot more. But as you guys can see right here, it's very easy to control even without a grip. Now usually again on guns, you know, with a grip you're allowed to not have to pull down a little bit, but on the Groza you will have to put down a little bit in terms of going full auto. It's just something that you have to do due to the fact that you don't have a grip on this gun. But regardless, this gun is insane, does high damage, medium and close range, and again the sight is fully up to the player. What sight you really like and enjoy. Again, it's just, you know, that's player based, not really up to me. But let's get into the second weapon now coming up. So at the number 2 spot is the P90. This is pretty obvious. The P90 dominates in a lot of the games that it's in. However, I will say this, there are some drawbacks to the P90, and it's one of the reasons why it's not at the #1 spot, and you'll see why. The P90 is still a great gun, so don't, think, oh, why is it not #1? It's just my opinion, because the #1 gun is freaking god tier right now, right? So, the P90, quick things. One thing, and this isn't major, is that you get the gun at level 125. Super high level for a lot of casual players, and even for the hardcore players, yeah, you can get there pretty quick and easy, but it's still something that takes time to get. Whereas some of the other guns that are really good, just like I said, the Groza and even the #1 gun, you can get way before the P90, and you can rack up loads of kills with those guns as well. Another thing about the P90 is the fire rate. The fire rate's only at 800, whereas like some of the other submachine guns and even some of the assault rifles do shoot a bit faster than the P90, so you can sometimes lose a lot of the gunfights up close. But that's really up to you on, the situation and everything. But it's just something to be aware of on why, oh my gosh, why is my P90 not working? It's the fire rate sometimes. It's just the fire rate. The other thing as well for the P90 is the fact that you do not get a grip. So again, a grip is a little bit of a thing here with the P90 and the Groza, but it doesn't take away from how good the gun is due to its damage at close, medium, and a little bit of far range for the P90. But with the fact of the P90 not being able to get like the UK grip or not being able to get like an SE grip, it's the fact that it kind of draws back from the gun because of the fact that you can't reload faster, you can't get a little bit less vertical recoil, less horizontal recoil, all that stuff. It's a drawback. Now, the massive benefits of the P90 is the magazine. The magazine, you get a base 50 magazine, but you can also get a quick magazine of 50 as well. So it's one of those things where you're going to be shooting, reloading really fast, and shooting again. It's one of those great things about the P90 that you get the base 50 round magazine compared to a lot of the other submachine guns that just don't have that. The other thing as well is the fact that the iron sights are actually pretty good. Now, the sights, again, it's fully up to you, but I like to use the Cobra, red dot sight, sometimes the reflex sight, but it's up to you. And also the razor sight. The razor sight, it's a pretty clean sight as well. But I'm not gonna really go fully into these sights because they're just, that's fully on the player. Going over to the barrels, I like to use the tactical barrel, the VAMB barrel, or even the suppressor short. I know I don't have these barrels unlocked and everything, but it's something that I just know will work at the moment due to the fact of you're going to see in the clips how good the P90 is without even using some of these attachments, and it's just insane. So I'm going to be putting some of my favorite barrels like the tactical and the VAMB barrel, and I just know that the gun's going to just work. Again, suppressors are fully on you. I would say the suppressor short is really good. I don't really like the suppressor long too much, but the suppressor short is just great because of the fact that you're using a submachine gun. Up close, you're spraying and praying these people down. It's going to be something that you're being suppressed, and you're just going to go undetected and be able to get a lot of kills pretty quick. Regardless, let us get into the gameplay and let's talk a little bit more about the P90 before we get into the #1 gun. So now I'm going to be showing you guys gameplay of the P90, and again, this is just basic gameplay of the P90 without the proper quick mag, without the proper barrel that I would like to use, and it's just something just insane to the fact that this gun has so many basic attachments that it could just do this much damage and be this much of a laser beam. I hope they don't nerf the gun because it is a great gun and it isn't, I feel like, too overpowered. It's really up to the player on how they're using the gun and just shooting with it. There is a lot of guns that can compete versus the P90. This clip is insane right here as well, so I do hope you enjoy it. But don't forget, we're about to get into the #1 gun, and sadly the P90 is in it, but the #1 gun is definitely worth it. So let's get into it. At the #1 spot is the Kriss Vector. The Kriss Vector you get at rank 70. And at rank 7 you can have such a beautiful gun that can decimate your enemies in 127 versus 127 or whatever other game mode you want to play. Now, the magazine size is a base 40, but you can also get a quick mag of 40 as well, but you can also get a drum mag, which is pretty nice, but I will say the quick mag 40 is definitely the way to go. You can also get an underbarrel, underrail, which is the greatest thing because you can get the URK grip. Now, I'm going to show you guys how good the URK grip is when you have the less reload time and draw speed and a little bit of aim down time speed. So all of these combined on the Kriss Vector, especially with this gun being so dangerous up close and even at medium range, you're wanting to be able to reload even faster than you already can. And it's one of those things, you're getting back into the game, you know, you're just getting back into the game, you're freaking killing nonstop, not having a really slow reload like some other guns have. Coming over to the barrel. The barrel, you can use the tactical barrel and the VAMB barrel. Again, these are the two barrels, in my opinion, that are some of the best barrels in the game. But again, suppressors is something to always mention because it's really up to the player how you want to play. Whether you want to be sneaky, always doing flanks and trying to actually use a suppressor. I know it's hard to do flanks in 127 versus 127, but it is possible. So yeah. Another thing is the main sight. I like to use the red dot, but that's fully up to you whether you want to use the Cobra, the reflex, the holographic. Again, sights I always leave up to the player. Now let's get into some gameplay. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Vector. Now with the Vector at #1 spot, you guys can definitely see the fire rate on this gun is insane compared to the P90. I think the P90 does have a bit of the advantage in terms of being able to have a little bit more control. Sometimes the Vector can get a bit insane in terms of medium range, whereas the P90 you can kind of control a little bit more. But one big thing about the Vector is the fact that you can get the UK grip. The UK grip allows you to reload faster, and with the quick mags allows you to constantly just reload these 40 round magazines like it's absolutely nothing. I will say this, guys, do let me know what you guys think about the top 3 guns that I've stated. If you guys feel like there's other guns that are better than them, please let me know in the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.